Hey guys, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to pause the recording. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to your goal setting and let's dream bigger and build momentum in 2026 Zoom. Hope everybody's had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and New Year and is ready to kickstart their business and be rocking and rolling in 2026. Now, I have made some notes because obviously, if you've been around for a while, we've done these for quite a few years now, but I am a little bit like a squirrel nowadays, and my brain can, flitter off in different directions. So I have made some notes this afternoon because I wanted this to have some real purpose and some real focus and some real things that you can take away and implement into your business. So 2026 goal setting and dare to dream bigger. So just to kind of explain how this evening is going to work. We are going to obviously go over your goals for 2026. But what I want to do first of all is like dive into you having the ability to dream bigger, basically. Because if you want your sense business to grow, that's what you need to do. If you are new to network marketing, you might have just come into this as a little bit of a hobby. This evening, with the help of some of our amazing leaders that are on here, that I am going to call on as well, I want to open your mind and like give you the ability to dream bigger than, you've ever imagined. So this year can be the beginning of anything that you want it to be. It is, people make New Year's resolutions all the time and they don't stick to them. And I don't want that to be the case here. I want you to actually really, really dig deep and think a little bit deeper and actually put things in place that you can be intentional with your business and move forward. So apologies if I keep looking down at my notes, but I've got them here so I can use them obviously as a point of reference. So, this is very relaxed, guys, and very informal. So, if at any point you want to unmute yourself, if you want to ask a question, pop it in the chat or raise your hand, and we can unmute. Like this is very, very informal. I have got a cup of tea here in my lovely mug that Lisa bought me for Christmas. Um, so I do really, really want this to be as if we are like sitting in the room together, having a brew, having a chat, and almost like brainstorming for the new year. So, and I want, sorry, I thought I was being called, but I'm not. And I want you to take some actual goals away to like implement into your business in the new year. So if you are new, congratulations and welcome to your first like official training of 2026. I can see some new faces. Oh, hi. I thought I was being called. Do you want to say good night to everybody? This is Finley, everybody, for people that don't know. Who's that
Hey,
there?
you all right? Have you got putty pajamas on tonight? That is super cute.
Super cool. You going to bed now? Can I have a kiss? Good night. Love you, darling, okay? I say see you next week because you're going to see you next week.
See you next week.
That's Finley. Any of you that have been here for a while will have met Finley. Oh, I don't know if you can be on for the whole hour. I think I'll come and kiss you afterwards, okay? Yeah? Come on, go with Daddy. Okay. I promise. I'll come and see you afterwards, Pinky. Bye. So any of you that have been around for a while will know all about Finley. He's been I didn't have Finley when I started Scentsy, so he has all he's ever known is Scentsy, so that he's used to this, jumping on Zooms, jumping on lives. He's actually in his pants, which you can't see, which was a little bit further down the camera, so at least you got his pajama top. Um, but yeah, so coming back to what I was saying, but do you know what? That's actually a perfect example of the beauty of Scentsy and network marketing and why I am so passionate about this industry and it being able to fit into your life, whatever that looks like, whether you want to do it full time, part time, as a hobby, alongside your other commitments. Like you have to do what's right for you. But for me, I had two children when I started. This is just a little bit of a tangent, but I had two children when I started. Um, Fell pregnant with Finley, and when he was born, Finley has been diagnosed with autism and sensory processing disorder. So the fact that I have been able to be at home for his complete upbringing is so special, and why I'm obviously like super passionate about my Scentsy business. But um, what I have actually written here, which is actually quite a nice little sideline into there. I just wanted to take a moment to, because tonight on here we have some of our group, but I also know that we've got some of Louise Graham's group who've joined us this evening as well. Louise is one of my amazing friends in the business, and she's got a lot of family stuff going on. So I said to her, like, if any of your guys want to jump on here this evening, so we do have some of we have some. What's the word I'm looking for? We've borrowed some teamies tonight. We're all one big Scentsy family this evening. So I know that there's some of Louise's teamies on here as well. So I am just going to introduce myself super, super quickly, and just put like a little caveat to this. Like, I do not claim to be an expert about this subject. What I can tell you is this is like my jam, right? This is like the stuff that lights me up from the inside. So I have been with Scentsy for 9 years this coming April. I've been in the network marketing industry for 12 years in total, because I was with another company first. And all I know is this stuff works. And the way that I've like learned about this, I'm going to talk about that a little bit in a moment, and why goal setting is important. Um, is that I'll never claim to be an expert, but what I do know is these processes work, and every time I've done this, things have come to fruition. Now, not every single time. We are going to talk about when you set goals and they don't happen some in a little while, but why it is so important, and the way I kind of like look at entrepreneurship, because whether you realize it or not, the day that you bought your Scentsy business, you became an entrepreneur. Whether you feel like an entrepreneur, like you are running your own business, one thing that I know is when I listen to podcasts or I'll read books, or, the way I look at it is I take advice and inspiration from people that have been here before. I don't just mean in Scentsy, I mean like business owners in general. Um, they set goals and they have goals to work towards, because you wouldn't get in a car, for example. This is just a little analogy that's come to my brain. If I was setting off to drive to Scotland, for example, I wouldn't just get in my car and set off. Like, I would have my sat nav, I would have my route that I am taking. And this, by you setting goals, this is almost like your roadmap for your business, and for your life in 2026. So, all I know is those that have been before me in the business world are massive goal setters, and it is so, so important. And that is why we are here this evening. So I am a huge advocate for personal development. I don't believe, I believe in like grow the person, grow the business. And that is why we are here this evening. So, all I can do, sorry, I want to try and stay on track. All I can do really is inspire you to take action. Some of you might come off this Zoom tonight and be like, yeah, that was all right, but I'm not actually going to apply any of the stuff that she's talked about. That is okay. I'm not your boss. I am not here to tell you what to do. All I can do is hopefully share what has worked and inspire you to take action in your business, because ultimately it is your business. Okay? What I will say is some of you will fast learn. I do go off on a little bit of a tangent. I do talk with my hands a lot. I'm hoping I'm not going to knock my cup of tea all over my desk. But if I do, I will try and keep it on track. And it's really, really important. Like the 16 of you that are on here this evening, I am so proud of you. I do know, like I said, I know it's like still, we're in like post-Christmas week, and I will share the recording. But if you are new, and this also ties into like having some of Louise's team is on here as well. If you are new to Scentsy, or if this is like one of your first trainings, it is so important to dial into trainings, to show up to events, whether that's online events or in-person events, and to connect with other consultants in the business, because it's not about like copying other people. It's about taking inspiration from people. And that's what's going to like set you up for the year and in the years to come, because then what happens is you go to events and you connect with people, and then you see people again and you learn from other people. So that is just to kind of like put a little caveat to that at the beginning. So I know Katrina and Emma are on this evening. Is there anything that you would like to add to that, or before we kind of like kick off the training in its entirety? Feel free.
Oh, well, I've just looked at my vision board that I did last year after this training, and there is, I'm just looking, so I can't see you guys, but
Hang on, I'm gonna put
on
it
my
on.
vision board, there was direct consistency. I hit that. There was Disneyland Paris. We've booked that. We're going in May.
Nice.
There was, where is it? Earn 2K for the first time. So 2K as in what I was taking out of my business for me to spend. I hit that as well. So there's no magic in that. Like that didn't just happen. But because I'd written it down, it was here. It was in my focus. Um, and that is massively scientific. I literally love the brain so much. And that's your reticular activating system. And if you write something down and you think about it all the time, it will happen because it's just there all the time. So you remember it, you work on it, everything you do, you focus on it. You know, for me, direct consistency was huge. I wanted to get paid at title and continue to get paid at title because that's something I'd never done. And it was a massive goal for me. And so writing it down and putting it down as a real goal meant that I was like, right, okay, how am I going to get there? So I built and I brought on more teamers and I helped my team to grow and to share more ideas so they got more PRV. So it's really important that you don't sit there and think, oh well, that's not going to happen. It won't happen if you don't write it down. Like
Absolutely.
it is a scientific thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think to add to that, it's really important when you come off a Zoom like this. I talk about this a lot. Even I feel the same when you go to Scentsy events or any sort of training, really. When you come off it, some people will come off immediately and feel inspired and want to go do something. And some people may feel overwhelmed, and that is okay. I think it's really important when you're goal setting to consider to take your time a little bit. Like sometimes my goals, particularly in January, will be a little bit further into January. And I know some people want them done on the first and they feel like it's got to be done at the beginning. And then you hit the ground running. Sorry, my family are very loud. I hope you can hear me. um, but also, sometimes then you might just pick goals that you think should be a goal because that's what you're seeing other people do. But what's actually really more important is take some time to consider like truly what is like what you actually want and then sort of think about your goals around that. I think that's a really important thing and find the way that works for you. So some people a vision board works for them. If that's just going to become wallpaper in your house that you're not really going to it'll look beautiful, but you're never going to look at it and take stock of it again, then there's no point. Find what works for you, and we'll come on to the different types that people have, like chalkboards or. But think about what is actually something that you will functionally work with, and I'll probably go on to this a bit later because this is like my passion child.
Yeah.
Lists and actually taking action and being consistent, but it starts with like just finding the way that works for you. For me personally, I will find like very, I will make a vision board that works for me, my big goals for the year, but then I break them down into like weekly tasks. And it's just about finding what works for you. I know some people in my team are like, what? Then a weekly task too? No, like you're absolutely making my brain like too much. You've got to find which way your brain works
Uh, yeah.
and what you'll stick at really, I think, with this as well.
That is such a lovely link into the first note on the top of my next page, which is lovely. So that literally says your goals are going to be so personal to you and the way that you need to focus on them. Now, for me personally, you might see people talk about vision boards and cutting out pictures and sticking it. I have made ones like that in the past, but for me, they never had as much of an impact. So for me, a lot of years ago now, I have actually got the first ever vision board I ever wrote right at the beginning when I first started Scentsy, and I found the post once upon a time and I found it again and share it in the same group. And when I first wrote this in my kitchen, this was before I had Finley. Was it? No, did I have Finley? I can't remember when I wrote. Anyway, it was in our old house. But this is my very, very, very first vision board that I ever wrote. When I had joined Scentsy at this point, but I wasn't in very long. But I still have this up on my wall. It's a It's a magnet. And it has actually got where it's been moved around a bit, it's got command strips on there as well. But I still have this up every single day because the things that are on the bottom, I am a really simple person, and I don't mean that in a bad way, like speaking badly about myself, and I'd never be offended if anybody actually described me as a simple person, because I need simplicity in my life. Like, one of the Scentsy core values is simplicity. And like Emma just said, the reason I keep this there to share it is when things can get overwhelming and life can get busy, because that does happen for all of us. I go back and I look at this and I remember that actually all these things here have never changed in the 9 years. So I am just going to read this to you first of all before we kind of move on to the next thing. Now, before I talk about these things at the top, when I go like, oh, they all happened, they did all happen, but that's not to go like, oh my God, look at what I did. It's to show to you that they didn't all happen overnight, and I kept them there every single day to give me a vision and give me a focus. So again, I hope you are seeing the similarity in what we're saying here. Like, there is method in this madness basically, and it's keeping something in your visual, whether that's a picture, whether that's a chalkboard like this. So static caravan, we did end up buying a static caravan. A new kitchen, we did end up moving house. A loft conversion, we ended up moving house. Back to Florida with Finley, that finally happened this year. We went in 2025. And Superstar Director, which obviously, as you all know, happened. But what's more important is underneath, and these are still applicable all these years later. Daily goals for all. Find happiness in every day. Work hard. Be grateful. Don't worry about unimportant issues. Be present. Live in the moment and never stop dreaming. Be kind always. That's important. And there's always a Walt Disney quote, right? All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. And nearly 9 years later, I still look at that every single day, because that is the simplicity of this business. If you work hard and you are kind and you don't overcomplicate things and you put in the work, it will happen, basically. So I'm going to come back because I want to keep this within an hour. I want to keep this short and concise, and but I really would like to cover everything that I've made a note, because I do feel like it's all relevant. So your goals are going to be personal to you. You can't set off without a roadmap, because if you don't know how you're going to get there, when you're going somewhere, how are you ever going to get there? So one of my favorite quotes ever is, life is never happening to you, it is happening for you to help you grow. Now, when I titled this live, obviously this is about goal setting, and we are going to give you some tasks at the end to go away and set your goals. But I also called it "Let's build momentum and magic, and let's dream bigger than you ever imagined." Which the next kind of like section of this training is to hopefully enable you to do that. So sometimes in your business and in your life, you are going to win, and sometimes you are going to learn. And you need to understand that both are just as important. Like, it's so important to understand that there is not one Scentsy consultant, not one business owner that has just had a journey that is smooth sailing all along. And every single thing that happens to you in your life and in your business, whether you understand it at the time or not, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And you are going to grow from it, and you are going to learn from it. So challenges are going to happen in your business. Challenges are going to happen this year and every year in your business, but it's how you choose to deal with them. And you need to remember, again, I will die on this hill, the circle of control, always. You are always in control of your choices every single day. This is applicable to your Scentsy business. This is applicable to your relationships. This is applicable to your job. Like, in all areas of your life, you cannot control external circumstances. What you can control is how you choose to react to them, how you choose to respond to them, and the action that you decide to take from them. So your journey is not always going to be linear. It's going to be up and down and around about. But the only way that this year is going to be any different to any other year in your life or in your business is if you make some changes. Because if you think about it this way, what you've done up to this point has got you to where you are. Okay? If you don't change things, obviously I'm assuming you all want to, because you're here and you're part of this business. If you don't change something, nothing's going to change. It's that phrase from Einstein, isn't it? Like, The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So the two things that you are in control of are your actions and your efforts. Girls, if you want to chime in at any point, just like jump in. The two things that you are in control of are your actions and your efforts. Okay, you get to choose how you show up in your business and in your life every day. Now, and I know these girls do this too. I write in a journal every single day. I have done for years, even before. I kind of used to when I was a dancer. Then I stopped for a bit. Then when I started Scentsy, I did start it up again. But without fail, now every single day. Before I go to the gym, I get up and I write in my journal, which I'm not going to obviously read it all out to you. But one of the things that I write every single day is I am in control of my actions and my efforts. So literally every single day, you get to decide, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like you get to decide the type of human being that you want to show up in the world as. And some of you now might be thinking, oh, this is a bit mumbo jumbo, what she's talking about. But in all honesty, this is like as deep as and I certainly know these girls go as well. And that rolls out into your business, into every other area of your life. So when you make that decision to commit to yourself and your business this year, you need to be intentional with your actions and your efforts. And this is where, and I totally know these girls can interject on this is where discipline comes in. Because if you wait to be motivated, you will never do anything in your life. So I'm just going to stop talking for a minute and I'm going to let you two jump in and add some stuff about motivation over discipline.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in there. So, the way I explain it to my team a lot is life will happen, okay? You will have bad times with your family. You will have a really difficult day at work. You will be unwell. Like life's done it. But I think so. I used to talk a lot about people not having excuses, and I've actually considered my language around that actually, because what people might have, you can choose if it's an excuse or if it's a choice, is the way I try to frame it to my team. So there might be days where you don't choose your Scentsy business because you choose that your health that day, like you've had a really, really bad day, and you know if you sort of work really hard into the night, you are going to be completely burnt out, and then you will do it half-hearted that night and half-hearted the next day. But there will be other days where you choose that actually you are going to go all in with your business that day. And I think it's really important if you're choosing your business that you accept that you have to choose your business consistently for a really, really good proportion of of all the time, really. But what that looks like some days and other days will be really different. And I think so if you have a day where you've not really done much, but you've at least done a post or people have known you there, don't go to bed and beat yourself up if what you were actually doing that day was choosing your family and choosing your mental health. Like that is okay. But where the problem comes, where people set goals and say they want sort of really big goals within the business that year, but then Scentsy becomes the first thing that they let go in their priority list. So Scentsy, I said this yesterday on the Introduction to Growth Academy, but it's so true for goal setting. Scentsy has to be a priority. Obviously, your family and everything like that will always be the priority above that, but it has to be a priority if you want to build on your goals this year. Because if it's always one of the first things that you let slide and think, not going to do that, I'm not going to do that, it's not going to build, and you're going to set these goals that you're not going to work towards. It's got to be something that you do choose. And the way I sometimes explain it to my team is if you went to work, like your paid employment, and chose not to work that day or not to really do very much, it wouldn't be very long before your boss had a problem with that.
Yeah.
In Scentsy, you don't have a boss other than yourself. Like your sponsor is not your boss. Your superstar director is not your boss. They are a mentor, but they're not your boss. So you get to choose if you work or not, but then you're choosing the same as your boss would, how much you then get paid. basically. Because if you just don't
Absolutely.
show up and set your goals and work towards them, then it's only you in control of your wage. And I think that a good way to look at it, if you are in it really wanting some really significant goals this year to really increase your sort of take home from Sensei, think of it as the majority of you, your paid employment will be your main source of income. That has been mine for many years. I still work full time. They're sort of becoming on par a little bit now. But um, within my job, I have like I have promoted. I'm sorry, I'm not making sense, but I am making sense. I'll get to my point. Sorry. Within my job, I have sort of gone as high as I can. There is no further career progression for me within my job. However, Sensei, there's still progression. So you can choose really big, scary goals within this business if you want to, and they are achievable for anyone. Like Lindsay McCallan always said, a director is just an essential consultant that never gave up. Like you can choose really big goals, and as long as you then make sense of your choice and a priority, like you can go for them. Like absolutely.
I've literally written that down here and said this business, and I'll come on to that in a minute. You can dream bigger than with this business than you ever thought possible. Like it
Can,
is literally limitless.
can I just add in? Because I'm about to get a little bit deep, so I apologize. But that's just who I am now, I'm afraid.
Go for it.
But for me, added on to that, because all of that is just so true, and I'm a massive advocate for why would you prioritize your employed job and work over and above when you're not getting paid for that, when you could work over and above in your Scentsy business and actually get paid for it? The more effort you put into your business, the more you're going to get paid. That doesn't happen unless you do get overtime at your business. But where I worked in my corporate job, you just didn't. I worked over and above and didn't actually get paid. If I worked out my hourly rate, I was probably on minimum wage because I worked ridiculous hours for no extra pay. Just ridiculous. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. So for me, some of you might not know, but there's been a lot of loss in my close friendship group, my extended family, and a lot in the past 2 years, a lot. And that has shaped me as a person, massively, given me the biggest perspective I think I've ever had in my life. Um, and for me, it boils down to changing the language. So, and I say this to Chris, my husband, all the time, and he's just like, for God's sake. But it's not that you have to do something, it's that you get to do it.
Yeah,
And that is huge. So if you sit there and think that you're doing whatever you're doing and it's like really stressing you out and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. If you sit there and think, you know what, I actually get to do this. This is my choice. I get to do it. It honestly, it will change your perspective on everything because, you know, again, I don't want to get too deep, but some of the loss that I've suffered, these have been people that are 35, 40, 68, not old. They're not old. And those people would give their right arm to do the things that we can do. So
absolutely.
if you think a bit of it like that, like genuinely, everything you have is just right there for you to just grab and do what you want to do with it. Like, honestly, I can't even tell you how passionate I am about that because I watch people moan about their job. I watch people like making themselves ill by working over and above when they don't need to. And this is one of my close friends, actually. I wish she'd joined Scentsy, but she won't. And, I look at them and I think to myself, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? This is not a rehearsal. You literally have no clue when you're not going to be on this earth anymore. You need to start prioritizing the things that are going to change your life. And Scentsy will do that for you if you prioritize it.
Absolutely. And that just kind of wraps into what I'd written here about what we're kind of trying to articulate to you is you can't wait to be motivated. You have to be disciplined. But I love the saying, find the magic in the mundane. Okay. You need to be committed to the things and the actions in your business long after the feeling has passed you. You need to do the things so many times over and over and over again that it just becomes second nature. And you, exactly like you just said, Emma, always find the joy. Okay. Never to stop. Like, what an amazing thing. Like, to, I don't know. I had a message in my inbox today from one of my customers who absolutely loved her advent calendar. Like, she was over the moon. I am going to share it actually in a little while. I said to her, is it okay for me to share it? Like, our we share products that bring joy into people's lives. We share an opportunity that brings joy into people's lives. That is literally our job. Like that is it in a nutshell. There's absolutely no reason, like the girls have said, for you not to want to do that. So you need to, like I said, find the magic in the mundane, but also remember consistency over intensity every single time. We didn't actually liaise before we did this tonight, but what the beauty is, because we've all done this for a long time now, and we're all like so on the same, singing on the same hymn sheet with this, all these things that we're talking about just interlink because this is like the core of it. So consistency over intensity. There's a really famous phrase from Fraser Brooks, who is a coach in the network marketing space, and he says you can't just shower on a Sunday and expect to be clean for the rest of the week. Okay, it doesn't work like that. So it doesn't mean that you have to be. Oh, what's that other one? It's you don't have to be. You don't have to constantly work your business, but you need to consistently work your business. So even if you do a short little bit every single day, that is much better than going hard for 1 day a week and then disappearing for 2 weeks. So consistency over intensity every single time. And what I've written here is like I titled this is the purpose of tonight is to build that momentum and magic in you and hopefully light a little fire inside of you on the 2nd of January 2026. So we can sit here on the 2nd of January 2027 and you are like, oh my God, I did this. We talked about this. I reached this. I did this. I never thought that was possible. I've never been live. Like, and this is when it all comes down to, and I was going to say like I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. That this is literally how passionate I feel about this, right? If Scentsy closed tomorrow, right, it's not going anywhere, FYI, just so you know. But if Scentsy closed tomorrow, the personal development side, like that would be my job. I could coach people on any business about this because that is like how passionately I feel about working on yourself and understanding that lighting that fire inside of you and working on yourself. It was from Ben Francis, the founder of Gymshark, did a podcast a few years ago, and I vividly remember listening to it. I was sorting out washing, I had it on my AirPods, and I literally, like, when I'd done, I'll find the post in the team group and share it. And he said a sentence that literally like jumped out to me, and it said, "If you grow and he's in a completely different industry to us, and I know you listen to this as well, Katrina. Grow the person, and you will grow the business. It all starts with you, and when you truly, truly understand that, that is when things are going to change. Now, some of you might never have read a personal development book, listen to a personal development podcast, realize that actually looking after yourself first is the utmost important thing for your life. If you are somebody that has other people rely on you, whether you are a parent or whether you have another job or whatever it may be, I understand people have completely different circumstances. However, looking after yourself, and I'm talking about like working on yourself, your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health is the most important thing for your business and for your life. And it doesn't mean that it's a perfect system, and it doesn't mean that people that do that don't have tricky days or hard days or, awful stuff they have to navigate. But what it does is it gives you a toolkit to then build resilience and build your confidence and build to be able to get through these things in your business and in your life. Sorry, I have
I'll
gone
just
off.
quickly jump onto that
Yeah,
actually. So you just made me think, Laura, with you saying like go live or something. And that's why it's really important that was my point at the beginning about just taking a little bit of time if you've not already done your goals to consider them actually, because like some of them you might think, oh, that seems really small, but if it's huge to you, then it's huge. Like when I joined
some small wins. That's
Sensei,
literally written
yeah,
down.
oh God. When I joined Sensei, I said I was never going live. And when I joined Sensei, I took my time a little bit. I was a bit dubious. I went to my first event really scared, not really. I've not really bought that massively into the community. I knew Laura, that was it. I was a little bit like unsure, and I think I was maybe a lead consultant. And I left that event, and it was after Lindsay McCallum said a director was just an essential consultant that never gave up. And I watched people in the room, and I was like, I'm going to be a Scentsy director. And for me to actually say that to my teammate who had like traveled with me was massive. Like she's actually known me my whole life. She was my next door neighbor from the day I was born. And even she was like, wow, that's like bold for you, because she knew I used to keep everything quite like quite locked in. I didn't. It took me ages to tell Laura after that I wanted to be a director, because I was like, God, if I tell her, she might be like, all right,
I always remember you say you
and I
writing
was like,
on
well, what if it
Facebook.
doesn't
I drove
happen?
halfway down the country to meet this girl from the internet.
Yeah. But then it actually took me, this one works better for me. I tried one like this last year. It looks very pretty. It's not drawn me in. I still like it. And these are my like big long-term 4 or 5 year goals. I'll probably still keep it, but I don't glance at it as I make a cup of tea like I do this one and be like, you need to remember what it man, this will be like bigger ones. It'll be like it'll have the incentive trip or things like that on it, but I can glance at that and then it makes me think, right, so what are you doing today to get you on that incentive trip? What wax are you selling today? Like it just pulls me back into what I need to do. But it's not always those big goals. And me having one of these was a big step, because I actually, when I first joined Scentsy, wasn't the type of person that could hang that in my kitchen, because I wasn't even comfortable with my husband and my children seeing that. Because what if I didn't do it? Like that is the type of person I used to be before Scentsy. And that's how much like working on the mindset can really help you as a person and then change you. Then now what happens is, when it was the Scentsy bingo where we were working towards the travel vouchers in the June, which was like the final month, I said out loud in the kitchen, I don't know how I'm going to get those final 2 squares. I think I had like 2 weeks left, and I was like, there were big ones to get, and I was like, I just don't actually think that'll be doable. But I earned this and I earned that, and that's fine. And my 14-year-old son, who was 9 maybe when I joined, um, he turned around and went, well, you need to get to work and make a plan, Mum. If you speak like that, you're never going to do it. And then I completed it, and I thought, he's watched that journey. He's had the benefit of different to what my older boys, they speak about the change. Like Elliot's girlfriend on Christmas Eve said, we went out and bought the boys a treat on Christmas Eve. It was a bit on a whim, but it's been lovely actually. It's brought all my boys together all Christmas long. And his girlfriend said, oh, well, that shows the different position you guys are in, that your mum can buy something on Christmas Eve. And Elliot was like, I'd said to her, yeah, but like you want to know what it was like when we were really little. Like I was a mum of two at 17. Like we did not have much money for most of my older boys' lives. And I said to him, he's 21, well, hard work pays, doesn't it, kid? And he was like, yeah. And I thought, do you know what? Like, that's what me stepping out my comfort zone and being brave and setting bigger goals, they've all watched that at different stages of their life. So it's really, you're not just doing it for yourself. Like your kids are, if you've got children, like they're seeing you dare to be brave at like whatever age you are. Like they saw me start to be brave in my 30s, and I wasn't very brave before. Like I always say, I've never done a handstand, and it's because from being tiny, I've always been scared of people seeing me fail. So it's okay to be scared to fail, because as long as you made progress, like I said to Laura, a lot of my goals when I looked back on last year, the ones that are not achieved, it's not because I didn't achieve them. It's because I've been making steps towards them, and they're a goal for 2026. Like,
Absolutely.
like you don't always have to complete a goal. Like it can be progress steps. Like the ones that I've not made, got finished. It's because it's a longer journey, and I want to keep working on them. So don't ever use your goals to beat yourself up, and use them to be a bit braver and let people see you be brave.
Absolutely. Okay. That is really poignant. And actually, I love the saying, like, your children will follow your example, not your advice. You can tell them all the things in the world, but they are little sponges and they are watching what you do. So I am just trying to find, I actually printed off earlier. Look at me being all organized. So I'm going to ask you guys to get involved, because we've been talking since the beginning, which is fine because we wanted to do that and we wanted to get you in the headspace. So let us know in the comments below and be honest, because there's absolutely no point in being here if you're not going to be honest. You need to be honest with yourself, because that's how you self-reflect and that's how you move forward. Be honest with yourself and let us know in the comments who sets goals at the beginning of every single month. Be honest. Let me see. I know you do, Katrina. I know you do, Emma. Never. They scare me too much. No, Anna, I don't. You don't have to say sorry. There's absolutely no, like we said, nobody's anybody's boss.
Thank you for being honest about why.
I set goals last year, but that was the end of it. Loosely, I have great intentions, but never do. I need to. Sarah Bratton, no. Okay, right. So that is going to change from tonight. That is going to change from 2026 because, like we said at the beginning, if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So we're going to start some goal setting going forward. Now,
My boss at work says, sorry to interrupt, but
so,
it is a funny one. My boss at work says if you don't set a goal, you're just pissing into the wind. And it's true. You're not, sorry, this has been recorded, but you've got no direction.
100%, right? And before we kind of talk about why it's important, I'm just going to read. So I'm sure a lot of you will know who Tony Robbins is. He is one of like the greatest personal development coaches in the world. But I actually went online and printed off what Tony Robbins says about goal settings, why it's important actually ChatGPT gave me this. In simple, say ChatGPT wasn't around when I started doing these trainings. I've got a little assistant right here. So setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. And what I've actually done on each little part here is I have written down things which is kind of like my take on it. So there's a saying that I absolutely love, and it's like, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Now, there's been so many things over the years that I've done with this. So, for example, right, we went to Florida with Ella and Harry when they were 10. Ella's 18. I was 18 the back end of last year. And I knew when we had Finn, that I wanted to go back to Florida. And I didn't know at the time how I was going to make it happen, but that was absolutely a non-negotiable in my life. Like that was going to happen. So I would write that in my journal every day. I would write back to Florida, back to Florida, back for years and years and years. And this year, he's 6 and she's nearly 18. We finally went back because I didn't know how that was going to happen. Well, I did because I knew I was going to work really hard. But I would literally visualize walking up Main Street with him, or I would visualize us at the airport, or I always remember going on my first incentive trip with Scentsy to Mexico with Lisa. So it was Dan and I was pregnant at the time. Lisa came with her sister-in-law. We were both directors, I think, at the time. And Wendy Heath Newgas. So if any of you don't know who Wendy Heath Newgas is, she's an American SSD. She's absolutely amazing. Go and follow her. She was there with her whole group. They were in this swimming pool. It was like, like on the films when you see like Spring Break. You see like Spring Break in America. It was like that. It was just like, woo, party time. I was heavily pregnant in these pale blue. I felt like a frog on a lily pad. It was massive. Anyway, me and Lisa sat there on them sunbeds that week, and we were like, we are going to be superstar directors. Like, and we are going to be coming on incentive trips with our teams. We didn't know at that point how that was going to happen. We just knew that was going to happen. And look at what has happened. We've been on incentive trips with our teams. And I'm not saying that to go like, oh my God, look at what we did. I'm saying it to go like, it's a bit like when the incentive trip comes out and you go, oh, well, I'll give that a go. If you say to yourself, like I remember, Emma, when you were at work, and you would book the time off work, and I know you've done that, Katrina, like before you even know what the criteria is, because you decide that you are going on that trip. And then you work back to make it happen. So visualization is so important. To achieving your goals. Tony says that without goals, people live by default, not design. When you set goals, you decide what matters, you stop drifting, you take control in where your life is heading. If you don't decide, I love that. If you don't decide where your life is going, your life will decide for you. That is so true. Goals shape your focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. Your brain starts filtering opportunities differently. You notice resources, people, and ideas that you would have ignored before. And you stop wasting energy on things that don't move you forward. It's not about doing more. It's about focusing on what matters. Now, while that little sentence is there, I am going to just interject into something. I'm going to jump around a bit. And something that I was going to come on to in a minute, right? You get to decide, because I've already done that, because some of the stuff that's up here we've already talked about. When it says about you stop wasting energy on things that don't move you forward. Okay. Now, this is in your life, in your business, It's about the people you surround yourself with. It's about the environments that you choose to put yourself in. It's about, I guess, what you eat, what you drink. Like, there comes a point in your life, and I've always been a bit like this, but I certainly know that like hitting 40 was like a bullet. Like like if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive, is one of my favorite sayings. Your energy source, your energy and your central nervous system and your like your heart and your soul is the most important thing in your life. And if you are putting yourself in environments or surrounding yourself with people or going to places, now I understand if you have a job and there's maybe somebody at work that triggers you, that's a little bit different. So you can like, but I'm talking about like, and we're not here to tell you what to do with your life. We're just talking like from experience. Because I certainly know over the last 10 years of entrepreneurship, there are many, many people that I no longer spend any time with because they literally sucked the life out of me. And that was a choice that I made. And I'm talking in real life and I'm talking on social media as well. So there is a really famous, well, maybe famous in our world. There's a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk, and he was on a podcast once, and he was famously quoted by saying, "People moan about social media and moan about this, that, and the other." He was like, "My social media, without excuse my language, is effing sunshine." He said because I do not follow or watch or I'm friends with anybody that triggers me. The prerequisite for spending time with anybody or you watching somebody or somebody being in your life should be that they inspire you and that you leave their company feeling like you want to like take on the world, right? Now, just to flip this around the other time, if you are on social media and somebody that you are following triggers you, stop following them. You get to choose. It all comes back to that, like what when we said about choices, you get to choose. And over the years, I have had people tell me to my face, like like when I don't know, sometimes a photo will come up on your memories and it'll go down and it'll be like, oh, I'm not friends with them anymore. They've unfriended me. Maybe they blocked me, right? I have had people tell me to my face that they've blocked me or unfollowed me because I was too much for them on social media.
I was
That's
just
okay.
gonna say, that's exactly that. And even
That's
if
a
it's
them
like,
problem though, not a you
but
No,
problem.
even if
but
it's someone like us or something, someone in your team that triggers you, obviously you've still got to be polite and kind to people.
yeah,
But
Always
if
be kind.
that's not serving you, then that's
absolutely.
okay. You
This
yeah.
isn't from a place of arrogance, from a place of anger, from a place of anything. Like they are not for you. And I think this is definitely something that takes time to understand. Like you're not for them and they're not for you, and that's okay. Like not every single person in the world is going to be for other people. If I am triggering somebody, I hope they do unfollow me. Like it saves me a job. I don't want to be responsible for trigger and that is okay. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad person or I'm a bad person. So what I'm saying is if you are spending time with people in your life or you have certain relationships in your life or environments that you spend time in and you come away feeling frustrated, angered, belittled, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some other words. Stop spending time with them. Like, and I mean that with love and with kindness, but for like your life in the bigger picture. But that's what
Can
I
I
mean.
just cut in there,
Yeah,
Laura,
of course you
because
can, yeah.
I want to talk about our hustle house group. Excuse the name. Don't know where it came from. Can't really remember, but
Our WhatsApp group.
our WhatsApp group. So we're in a WhatsApp group with what? There's 9 of us in there
Mm.
in that one. I don't think Nick's in that one, but there's 8 of us in there, isn't there? And we have been in that WhatsApp group for quite a while, sharing ideas, cheering each other on, checking in to make sure that each other's okay. And these are from Lisa's downline and Laura's downline. So
And
we're
Victoria
all
Colby
really good
and some other
friends.
random people that have
Yeah,
on
and
the
Vic,
loo.
yeah. So we're just all really, really good friends. But not only that, we are all in similar, well, some of us are in similar stages and others are in similar stages to our business. But what has happened in the past couple of years is we all of our businesses have got stronger and built bigger, and we all hit level 1 of the incentive last year. Um
With level 2 on the horizon.
with level two, it's more so like Katrina's very close to it. I know Georgie is. So surrounding ourselves with people that are doing all of those things, no drama, no slagging people off, no negativity, none of that crap. It's all literally, you know, supporting each other and sharing ideas and picking each other up when we need to. We've literally worked so flipping hard because we're surrounded by that. And
Absolutely.
that has had such a massive impact on me, like massive. And yeah, I just wanted to
You
kind of let you
will,
know the
yeah.
impact that that can have by surrounding yourself with the right people.
And we're not suggesting for 1 minute, and this is the last thing I will say on this, and I'll wrap up, and then we will talk about the actual goal setting. We're not suggesting for 1 minute that people don't have challenges, sometimes need to discuss difficult situations. But I'm talking about, because I literally wrote this down earlier, I'm talking about the people that bitch, moan, whinge, are entitled. Like you become the people, and I'm telling you
Yeah,
this now. If somebody gossips to you about somebody else, they are gossiping to somebody else about you. And I
100%.
know, and I have my hand on my heart. I know that I do not have any of those relationships in my life anymore. And when I made that change, um, my business skyrocketed because I was coming back to this whole point, which started this whole conversation. You stop wasting energy on things that do not move you forward. So that's all we're saying is as we go into 2026, just be really, really mindful and intentional of what actually matters in your life and what you are giving your energy to. Because if you're giving your energy to the wrong things, that is going to roll out into every other area of your life and your business. Okay, right. So what we want to do now, because actually, rather than getting you to make a vision board on here, because like we said, there's no like right or wrong way to make a vision board. What I've actually done is I've created. You're going to be so impressed with me because this is not what I do. I've actually got a PDF that I'm going to share afterwards, giving you different ways. I didn't do it. AI made it. I put the points in and AI made it. Um, so we're going to talk about some master goals in a minute and a belief statement for yourself for the year. And then what we're going to do at the end is we're going to quickly go over kind of how to make a vision board, and then you're going to have a PDF to take away and do it at your leisure. Because if you're taking part in Growth Academy, you're going to be doing one anyway. But again, like Katrina said earlier, this wasn't to like come on and get everything done right away, like because this is so personal to you. This was to like open your mind to like thinking a little bit bigger. So, what I just want to touch on now is, um, where is it? Right, okay. This is the Scentsy planner. Okay. I've had one of these every single year, pretty much since I've been a leader. But at the beginning of the Scentsy planner, there is a section that says identify your why, your belief statement, and your master goals list for the year. Now, sorry, let me find because I actually wrote this earlier. Um, sorry, 1 second. Right, here we go. Okay. Um, and the reason that Scentsy do this is because these are like the three most important things for you to focus on as we go into a new year to set you in the right mindset to incorporate everything that we've talked about this evening. So, the first thing is I hope you've all got a notepad and pen like I put in the email earlier. So, what you need to do is you need to identify, I'm not saying do this right now, but write these things down. Um, identify why you join Scentsy, like why you show up every day for your business, why you are here, why you are on this training. Because if you don't know why you're doing something, then I started filling that in today. I've never bothered before. Oh, we've lost her. I don't know, she's still there. She'll come back. Um, if you don't know why you're doing something, you're not going to continue to do it. So that is the first thing. Everyone has their own unique reason for starting their Scentsy journey. What's your why and what is your reason for joining Scentsy? That is going to be so personal to you. We're not suggesting for 1 minute that you share that in the comments. It's just something that after tonight, go away, whether you write, whether you've got one of these, whether you've got a journal that you've bought on Amazon, whether you've got a notebook that you bought in Tesco, it doesn't matter. It's just somewhere that you write down. I mean, I don't know about you. I love a bit of new stationery and a new pen. Write it down somewhere at the beginning of a book, and then you've got it for the year. The second thing, just check she's all right. The second thing is your belief statement. Okay. Where do you see yourself and your business going this year? Start brainstorming some ideas. Remember, don't overthink it. Just start writing. I will put these points, I'll write these points down afterwards and share them in the group. So the second thing that I'm setting you almost as homework, again, for yourself, you might come off this and not do any of this, and that is totally your choice. But what I am suggesting you do to get yourself into the right mindset for your business this year is write your belief statement. So where do you see yourself and your business going this year? Start brainstorming some ideas below. Remember, don't overthink it, just start writing. Okay? And then the last one is your master goals list. So, what will you accomplish this year? Write down some goals and you'll be amazed at what you can do. Now, these are going to be so personal to you. So these might be in relation to PRV, they might be in relation to sponsoring. What is really important, and it kind of comes full circle to what we were talking about earlier, is it's really important to know that if you set a goal and you get to the next year and you haven't achieved it, that is okay because you would have made steps. Now, I keep saying this year. Last year, 2025, was the first year. So in Scentsy, for those of you that may not know, there is an award called the Annual Sales Award, where if you sell 30,000 PRV between the 1st of April, 1st of April, 1st of April and
Sorry, I was just texting Katrina. She's got bad internet.
first of
It's 1st of May
1st of May to the end of April.
to the end of April, yeah.
Right, okay. I'd never earned that until last year. It comes with £1,000 bonus. I've earned annual mentor, I've earned incentive trips, I've earned other things. I had never earned until last year. I'd written it in my journal every year. I'd always fallen short a little bit. And last year, I earned it for the first time. Now, that's okay. That is okay that all them years in, there's still always things that you can achieve. I never stopped writing it down. I never was like, oh, well, I'm just going to give up because I didn't earn it last year. And now I've earned it. I sure as hell am never going to not earn it again. But that's okay because not every goal that you write down are you going to achieve first time. But it's always like taking the steps towards it. So, just to summarize, identify your why, belief statement, where do you see yourself and your business going this year? And then your master goals list. Now, I'm not going to read all of them out, but I am going to read you my belief statement because I wrote this yesterday. Some of it is similar to last year, some of it is different. But you'll see when I read it, none of this is about PRV, about sponsoring. It's about, well, let me read it and hopefully it'll give you some inspiration. So, my belief statement for my business this year was to continue to grow as a superstar director, as a leader, and as a human, and to continue to work on being the absolute best version of me that I possibly can, to remember what I am capable of, to be true to myself and authentically myself at all times, to keep clarity and consistency, to declutter spaces and my mind, to always pour into me so I can pour into others. And remember, peace, purpose, and kindness are key at all times. Shine light into others to help them find their fire, to consistently read and keep my mind as active as my body, to prioritize sleep. I'm not very good at that one. Boundaries at all times and self-care, to travel at every opportunity and to live in the moment and be present. Now, none of that is about I'm going to get 2,500 PRV. That went in the master goals list, okay? I'm talking about with your belief statement, it's about like the person, the human being that you want to show up in the world as this year because that is going to impact like every area of your life, not just your business. So, guys, it is 9 o'clock. I don't want to keep you too much longer because there's been a lot tonight, but I think it's really important at the beginning of the year to go this deep and for you to go away from tonight with some reflection and hopefully have shifted your mindset a little bit on some things that is going to move you forward in your business. So before we go, I'd like you just to drop in the comments, just write yes or me or I'm in or something. Let me know in the comments like who is committing to firstly doing these three things, but also committing to themselves and their business and to growing in 2026. Hopefully everybody. Amazing. Amazing. Right. Katrina's there. Okay, she's still there. She's there. Okay, guys, what I'm gonna do because I don't want to. I've done my goals vision board beliefs, and whilst watching, yes, love that, Melissa. Remember, if you can see it on in your mind, you can hold it in your hand, and where your focus goes, your energy flows. That is what I'm gonna leave you with. What I will do after this, I'm gonna share the recording tomorrow now, and I will share the points to summarize this and also the PDF about how to make a vision board and like the different types of vision boards you can do. I really hope this has been helpful. I really hope it's opened your mind a little bit and made you excited because I'm certainly excited for this year in Scentsy. We've got so many amazing things coming with the rebrand and everything. Um, yeah. Has anybody got any questions before we go? Before we love you and leave you? Um, It's been great, thank you. You are so welcome, my love. It's been brilliant. Thank you all. You are so welcome. Um, Totally remember what we said about, if you want to attract people into this business, um, when I share the recording or when you watch this back, you might have done this already. Take a picture, share it on your socials, let people know, like, or if you've felt an impact from tonight, like make sure you share that because there's a lot of industries, I certainly know, like I've been in previous industries before this, like where this isn't a focus, this isn't important. And actually it is like one of the most important things if you want to grow as a human. So there might be other people out there that are thinking, I could do with a little bit of that in my life. So make sure that you share about this and that is going to attract, hopefully attract some teamies to you this year as well. Vision board done now. I love it. Will you pop the tasks? I will, I will, I will. No
I
worries.
think
I
that
promise.
definitely, just really quickly, that definitely can attract people, you know. So,
Yeah.
last year, Jenny, who's in my
Oh, where
team,
are you?
she was sharing how much she was enjoying Growth Academy, and that month, two people joined her team because they'd
Yeah.
loved watching how much she enjoyed Growth Academy. So Claire and Emma joined her team, who have gone on to be amazing consultants. They're doing Growth Academy themselves this year, and then Jenny promoted to lead and star last year from doing that. And then Emma, who joined her team because Jenny shared how much she enjoyed Growth Academy, is also promoted to lead. Like sharing these types of things, not just the products, really, really is important as well because this
100%.
business is so much more than just the products.
Because if you don't share that you've been part of this training tonight, for example, or if you're part of Growth Academy, or you've got this supportive community around you, how will people know? How will people, they're not there, and that might just be not everybody joins Scentsy for an income. Some people join it for community or the personal growth or that, doing something for themselves. So yeah, it's absolutely just as important to share things like this than it is for that. Right, I'm gonna go because we literally could talk about this all night. Thank you for being here. Have a fabulous rest of your night. I will share all those pointers and I will share this recording in the morning. Lots of love and let's have an amazing year. Right. See you later. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.